Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video. If I sound tired in this one, it's because I started recording this at around 3 a.m. I was going to go to bed, and then SimGrewFrost answered a few pretty interesting questions that I decided not to wait on. Basically, there's 3 questions. One where I am pretty happy about it, one where I'm pretty in the middle, and then one is just, oh boy, nope, that one I'm definitely going to rant about. But anyways, let's start off with the positive. So Trainer Kenta asks, question about bikes. Are they exclusive to the Uni Worlds, or can they be used in, say, Willow Creek? And SimGrewFrost replies, with you can ride them wherever. And I wasn't too worried about this one because I was already speculating that with how the bikes work, they would just follow the same pathways that Sims do, whether it's pavement or the dirt trails, stuff like that. So it's good though. It's good though that this is 100% confirmed and is not speculation anymore. And bikes are one of the things that I'm very excited about with Discovery University. You may know that I'm a huge advocate for wanting more cars. Well, more cars? Well, functional cars that our Sims can drive anyways, that's what I mean. And yeah, bikes are something that I wanted very badly too for a while. So it's good that we have bikes back in addition to the boats and the brooms that we got in earlier packs in 2019. I remember early on in my Realm of Magic Let's Play, I said that it would be pretty cool if we could use some off-road vehicles like ATVs or bikes. So it's cool to see that the bikes part, at least, is coming sooner rather than later. I don't know if we'll ever get ATVs, but yeah, I want bikes more anyways. So let's move on to the next question. So Pretty Girl Tisha asks, I have a question. Are toddlers going to be able to go on campus if our young adult sim has a child? And SimGrewFrost says, toddlers can visit campus, but you can't live in university housing with your baby/toddler. I find this to be a pretty interesting answer. It's not quite what I expected because it seems like the dorms are going to work pretty similarly to city living apartments. Freezer Bunny Cowplant found out that in the corner of one of the shots of the dorm room in the new trailer that was released yesterday, you can see kind of an elevator tucked way away into the corner, and then posted a picture beside from their own game where there are a couple of elevators. So yeah, that's, I guess then we're going to actually get a couple of more restrictions in addition to city living apartments with these dorms in Brightchester. Though my concern with whether dorms would be in apartment shell buildings was that if you would have to endure a loading screen if you wanted to go to the next dorm room over. And looking again, it seems that it might actually not be the case. You might not need to go through a loading screen if you're still in the same shell. Because even looking at this screenshot here, even in that same area that Freezer Bunny Cowplant is pointing to, you can see a little bit of another room just poking at the edge there. And you can also see a public restroom on the other end. You can clearly see there's a toilet stall. So it looks like we won't have to go through loading screens to at least go to the bathroom. Yeah, that would actually be extremely annoying. Wow, I didn't even think about that until now. And to throw in another example here, here's another dorm room, and you can see at the bottom right corner, there is another room that does look like it could be an entrance area. So I feel like it is more believable from the other screenshot that we could be getting just like an open dorm area without having to load between rooms. But just thought I'd point that out anyways, in case that it's not an entrance sort of area and is actually another dorm room that's just right next door. But going back to the idea of having toddlers and babies in university housing, No, it's not really a big deal to me that you can't do that. It's just not a story that I plan on doing. So I'm not really upset about this, but if you are, I can totally understand why. But, oh boy, here comes the big one. So, Piggy John asks, okay, but SimGuru Frost, will the classes be accessible for us to watch our Sims learn or possibly sleep in class? Or are they all rabbit holes? And SimGuru Frost says rabbit holes. But even with rabbit holes, time management is an absolute must when taking multiple classes to get good grades. Oh boy. Okay, so this is nothing against SimGuru Frost. I respect him, and he is not a developer of the game. This is not his fault. And I respect him for giving this answer, but I'm still disappointed with the team's decision. I feel like this is just kicking it back to when we learned that we could not build apartments outside of San Myshuno, and I went on a whole rant in that info and thoughts video years ago. It's just like, wow, it's like I'm back there again, because it's just like scuba diving and island living being a rabbit hole. That was a big disappointment to me. But then this, I think, is even worse, because classes are an even more central part of an experience that is revolving around university. Like, it's just kind of silly to me. It's almost like if they made a pack that surrounded water exploration, like even more so than island living already did, but like really laser focused on it. But then scuba diving was still a rabbit hole anyways, where it's like, oh, okay, you could swim and do all these other activities on the water, and you could do stuff on the beach, but if you want to actually follow your Sims underwater, nope, can't do it. That's what I feel like with Discover University and the classes being rabbit holes. And I've said it in other videos before, but I'll say it again. Even though I did re-explore The Sims 3 University Life recently, which had some of the classes be open lectures as well as some outdoor activities, and me finding them being boring, I don't feel like throwing them away entirely in The Sims 4 is the right way to go about this. Because the reason I personally found them boring anyways is that there wasn't that many interactions available in the open lectures or the open class activities. It was, I don't think, even a handful. Like in the lectures, you could raise your hand, you could sleep in class for a few hours and scribble notes, but you can't talk to the classmate next to you, and you can't pull pranks, and the professor doesn't really seem to care what you do. And in one of the classes that my sim attended, the professor did not even show up. It was so weird, because the class basically still went on anyways, with Sims taking notes and falling asleep in class and all that sort of stuff. And then also, everyone immediately left pretty much, like right after the class was done. And I mean, I guess that's not entirely unrealistic there with people leaving as soon as possible, but like everyone, even the professor, barely stuck around for like a few minutes, I think. So that was not good. I have attended university myself, and sure, some classes can be really boring, but I have had plenty of fun classes too, where the professor actually engages with the class and asks questions and takes feedback and reacts to what's going on in the classroom. And with the students, you could have more social interactions, like passing notes to each other, maybe flirting with each other, or pranking each other. So it's not like it's impossible to improve the classroom experience and make it more interesting than it was in The Sims 3. This is a huge bummer to me, and possibly the biggest disappointment of the whole expansion pack. There's gotta be at least one with every Sims 4 expansion pack, it feels like to me. Even with Seasons, which I ended up loving in the end, still had the issues of deep snow and hail being missing. So it's very annoying to me that even over 5 years into The Sims 4's lifespan, we're still having this stuff happen, and the game is making so much money, yet it seems that for whatever reason, The Sims 4 is not being given enough development time, and not just for the base game, but for its DLC as well. So please keep in mind, I'm not going on a negative rant here to hate on the developers. I don't hate the people making it, and I don't hate The Sims. I want The Sims to be better. I know it can be, and it has been before, because I love The Sims 2 and I love The Sims 1. The Sims 3 to a lesser extent, but it still has its moments. And same with The Sims 4, I still like playing the game. I can still play it for hours on end, but it still hurts knowing that it could still be so much better than what it is now. Am I surprised this happened though? Not really. I was already thinking that this expansion pack might disappoint in some way, and yep, I turned out to be right, and I'm not surprised that this big disappointment is that the classes are rabbit holes. Because The Sims 2 did have rabbit hole classes with university. None of them were open. It's not like The Sims 3 where there was a mixture. But the thing is, The Sims 2 came out so long ago. I don't think The Sims 4 should regress to basically that. It's like The Sims 2, but in a bad way in that particular aspect, which is, it just feels so silly to say, but it just feels true to me. I don't think every single class in The Sims 4 needed to be open, but just like The Sims 3, where at least some of them were. Because I think if even they were very similar to how they were handled in The Sims 3, it'd be better than not having them at all. Because even if you don't care about open classes, you could just send your sim to the class without following them there, and just play as another sim or whatever else you want to do. So I guess to wrap things up, I will say that yes, I know I have not actually played Discovery University yet, but that does not mean that I am not allowed to form an opinion. And from what we know now especially, I feel like this pack is going to be a mixed bag. I think it could still potentially be better than Island Living, but I feel like that's not giving it a whole lot of credit. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!